Hello, Hellheads. I'm doing this video because I wanted to tell you how everything went at the New Jersey HorrorCon and Film Festival this weekend before too much time got away, because now it's been like a week, and I know I haven't. I posted something on my own Facebook, but I didn't post anything in the group. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible, because I know no one wants to hear and listen to me talk for a really long time. So we drove down from Rhode Island. The worst part about the entire weekend was the traffic. So that in itself was great, because if that was the worst part, then that's cool. So we got there later than we wanted to, and that was okay, because, you know, the first night it wasn't like, there wasn't a ton of people mulling around, and so we kind of just felt it out. And one thing that we did that first night, which I really wanted to do, was we got to see a screening of The Barn. I got to talk to Mr. Seaman, the director, and he was like, yeah, we're doing screening. So we went to go to the screening, and it ran really late. But what was really cool was that afterwards they did a Q&A, and it was Justin Linnea Quigley. I think it was the DP and one of the actresses, and I don't remember her name, and I'm really sorry, but I loved The Barn. I thought it was really a lot of fun. I thought that it treated the time period really well. There was a lot of really smart homages in that film that I feel like only aficionados would really pick up on, and I appreciate that, because sometimes an homage is just like thrown in your face and you're like, yeah, I get it. But no, there was some really cool stuff in there. Actually, there were some homages to Night of the Demons in there, which if you watch it, you'll definitely see. So what was really neat about that was the Q&A. So my husband Nick and I were in the front, and we're asking questions and stuff, and being generally loud. And so, you know, I'm kind of like talking about different points of the film, and Linnea looks at me and she's like, you know, you really know your horror. And I'm like, well, the Scream Queen just told me that I know my horror. I guess she's right. So that was that. We ended up getting out of there about midnight, and went back to the hotel, and we actually stayed at a place about 4 minutes up the road, which was really funny, because in the front lobby there's this big ornate couch with plastic slipcovers on it, which, you know what that means. It was just kind of funny. So I don't remember if, I think it was the first day that we bumped into Chris, who is selling these beautiful, beautiful prints if I want. And we ended up talking for a while, and he showed me Stooge's pumpkin and the shadow box that he had of the nose and the gauntlet, and it was just really, really amazing. And he was so cool. It was so cool meeting him. And we talked about, let's try to find Colleen, and but eventually we did, and that was cool. So geez, what else? I got to talk to Joel Robinson, which was neat, because I love his art. We bought a bunch of his prints, and that was cool. But yeah, the second day was probably our biggest day, because we came dressed as Stooge and Angela. We had paid for some photo ops, and now this was, let me give you a little background in terms of our convention experiences. This was our first horror convention. Now, we are well-seasoned convention attendees and well-seasoned cosplayers, but we've always gone to comic conventions, and we've always been completely disappointed with the comic conventions that we've gone to. And I think one of the reasons why we avoided horror conventions, it was kind of like, I don't want this kind of disappointment. We've actually avoided going to Comic-Cons for probably 3 years now, and when this came up, this Night of the Demons reunion, I was like, we have to go to this. You know, I cannot miss this opportunity. When's the next time they're going to all be on this coast? And not that everyone was there, but there was a good chunk of the cast there, and Kevin was there, and we didn't know it at the time, but Joe ended up being there, but that was fucking cool. So, you know, we went expecting the same kind of, you know, environment, and I couldn't have been more pleasantly surprised. It was so interesting and neat, and walking around dressed as these two relatively obscure characters. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the world at large, you dress up as Freddy Krueger, everyone knows who you are. You dress up as Angela Franklin and Stooge, and everyone's like, who the fuck are you? But everyone knew who we were, and they were so excited. They were so excited to see us. I had people coming up to me and like grabbing my arm, being like, Angela! It was really, really amazing to be able to bring people that much joy in the same way that Night of the Demons brings us so much joy every Halloween. And, you know, I'll be honest, I probably watch it more than my husband does. But we definitely put it on for Halloween more than once every year. And it's one of those films that transports me. It just makes me instantly feel that Halloween spirit, and that's just so important. I don't even get that with Halloween. Not as much anyway. So, anyway, so we get to the convention on Saturday, or just as Angela and Stooge, and we bump into Linnea, and her, you know, I already had this kind of like rapport with her, and I give off this comfortable veneer, but I have such anxiety when it comes to meeting people and stuff like that. Now, I don't go and meet celebrities. This is not something that I normally do. I don't go and get autographs. I don't go to conventions to meet celebrities. I used to go to comic conventions to cosplay, to get deals in comic books, and to maybe chat with some independent artists and writers, but it hasn't become about that. It's become more about, you know, come meet these 80 sitcom stars, and I just don't care. But so I'm derailing again. But we bumped into Linnea, and she started talking to me about, you know, horror movies, and she's like, "You should start a horror blog. You seem to know a lot." And I'm like, "Well, maybe I should." And it's been something that I've been thinking about for a really long time, because I do have a wealth of knowledge. I've been on the planet for a while, and I've seen a lot of horror movies. I read a lot of horror. I write a lot of horror. I create a lot of horror art. I sell horror art. I'm well embedded into the community, and the fact that I hadn't been to a horror convention until this point in my life is ridiculous, because that's my community. The comic community, I feel a sort of nostalgic loyalty to, because I grew up above a comic book store, so I know that world, but it's not a world that I'm as passionate about anymore. It was kind of almost like talking to that old friend that you've known forever, but you have nothing in common with anymore. That's kind of what going to comic conventions was like with me. But going to New Jersey and experiencing this was like meeting someone new that you have everything in common with, and suddenly you're like best friends. That's the best way I could describe it. So one of the cool things that happened was when we first started walking in, we noticed this guy is taking our picture, and I'm like, okay, let's pose. You know, we know this drill at least, how to, you know, mug for the camera when people want to appreciate your cosplay. So the guy moves his phone away from his face, and it's Elvin, and he's so happy to see us dressed up as Angela and Stooge, and he's like, "I'm Elvin." I'm like, "We know who you are." Like, that was really neat. And so then we went around, and we ended up bumping into Amelia, and she asked me for a picture. I'm like, that's hilarious. So, you know, we walked around. I avoided the Night of the Demons reunion room because I was a little petrified to go in there and just kind of like, you know, hi, hey, let me tumble over my words and blah, blah, blah. But we ended up getting some photo ops. I love this one because it's me as Angela, my husband is Stooge, and then Linnea. It's like Suzanne and Angela and Stooge reunited. This is the only autograph I actually asked for because I was being a chicken shit, and that's one of my favorite lines from the movie that she delivers. "I don't care if you're a chicken shit." I say that all the time. It's one of those things that just comes out of my mouth a lot. But this was pretty amazing. So we got our picture taken with the cast as Angela and Stooge, and that was really fun. What ended up happening, excuse the glare if my holiday accoutrements gets a little in the way, but I'm pretty sure Colleen has already put this up on the page so you guys have seen it. But what was really neat was, and kind of awkward, was Amelia kind of was like, "No, I want a picture with her and me." And so she wedged in there and took that, which was fun. So eventually we did make our way to the Night of the Demons room, and I got a picture with Ken Sagos too, because I'm a big Dream Warriors fan. We eventually made our way to the Night of the Demons room, and I ended up talking to Amelia, and I saw her friend Greg, who's also dressed up as Angela, which was so neat, because where else am I going to go in the world where someone else is dressed up as Angela Franklin? It was really encouraging to have your fandom validated in that way. I know I'm saying a lot, I'm sorry. But yeah, that was pretty amazing. And so I have a lot of pets, and I was telling her about our pets, and so I ended up buying her book. And so she brings us over to the table, and she starts like giving us stuff, and I'm like, okay, like I don't really ask for autographs. I know it's like heresy, but I don't really care about autographs. I like to get pictures with people and talk to people and stuff, but like, I don't know, it just seems weird. I mean, I know certain people appreciate it, but it's just never been a priority for me. But besides the whole chicken shit thing, but Amelia did end up giving us this which I thought was fun. And it's actually a really nice shot of the dress. So if I ever need to re-alter the dress and really want to make it even more accurate, it's kind of a nice shot that I can refer back to, which is cool. And what was neat was I was talking to her about the different, you know, stuff and movies and everything. And she had this one. And she was like, oh, you know, well, I said, my grandmother had this punch bowl, you know, and we use it at our own Halloween party every year, which is kind of a big deal for us. And so she just gives this, she signs it up and gives it to us. But actually, here it is. Yay, isn't that fun? So anyway, so yeah, that was that. So, you know, day 2 is really exhausting because I was a bundle of nerves, and on top of that, people were dragging us all over the place to take pictures with us. There was a lot of people, a lot of photographers who were like, oh my God, come here. I actually had a JMS photography, had me and another guy who's dressed up as a walker from The Walking Dead, and he had us posing on this car. There's some really cool pictures out there of this, like me shoving his face in some blood, and just there was a lot of people taking our pictures and like hugging us, and it was wonderfully exhausting. So by the time we went in to meet with the cast and Kevin and Joe, I was like, can we go back to the hotel? I need to get out of this dress and this wig, please. And we were talking about maybe going back to the after party, but by the time we got back to the room, I was like, I just want to be naked and with pizza and horror movies with you. And that's what we did. So that was fun, you know, just kind of relaxing afterwards. But the next day was a little bit more relaxed. We went in, our priority was the screening, the Night of the Demons screening. Our priority for this convention was Night of the Demons. That's why we were there. I really love People Under the Stairs. It's honestly one of my favorite horror movies, but we didn't have time. We didn't really have enough money to do everything we wanted to do. But so, you know, we prioritized Night of the Demons. I really would have liked to meet People Under the Stairs because I really wanted to meet, I would love to meet Wendy Robbie and AJ Langer. I love AJ. I think she's amazing. I wish she was around more. I think she is completely underrated, as well as Wendy and Everett, who I think they should be touted off as bigger horror icons than they are. But anyway, that's not what this is about. So finally got to meet Colleen. She met us on Saturday in passing, and then we got to see her again as she was leaving, and I was really sad because I thought she was gonna have to miss the screening, and I was like, damn it, you know, like, of all the people who should get to be there, it's Colleen. I mean, you run the fucking fan club, you know, like, come on. And so we're waiting for the screening to happen, having a drink, and I guess Sean Astin walks by and says hi to my husband, which is funny. We didn't even meet Sean Astin. Like, we had no intention of meeting Sean Astin, and Sean Astin's just like, hey, dude, like, he knows my husband. And I'm like, who's that? And he's like, that was Sean Astin. Just thought that was a cool little detail that I'd add. So anyway, we eventually we make our way up to the screening, and lo and behold, here comes Chris and Colleen, and I was so happy that she got to be there, because I was kind of like heartbroken. I'm like, like, you know, damn it, you should be here for this. This is amazing. And the live screen, the screening with live commentary was so cool. Kevin tended to stick to what was on the commentary tracks, but other people interjected. I liked some of the stories Alvin told. I liked some of the different perspectives that Linnea had. What for me personally, and I don't know if anyone else will share this opinion, I love the Golden Girls. I mean, I will fall asleep to the Golden Girls like every night of my life if I can't sleep. It's one of those things I have in the background while I'm working because it's very familiar. And she is in some of the Golden Girls, and she told the story about how she helped Rue develop the vocal tics of her character, and that was just like the cherry on top of the weekend for me. I was like, oh my god. So that was pretty amazing. We left pretty quickly after that because we wanted to hit the road to avoid the traffic, which we didn't avoid the traffic, but regardless, it was totally worth it. What an amazing weekend. It exceeded any expectations I had. I just really thought we were going to kind of go in, walk around, buy some stuff, and I feel like I made some real friends, and it was just such a fulfilling, awesome time, and I can't wait to go back. I really hope that we can go back in March. I have a lot of renovations to do in our house between now and then, so money's going to be tight, but I'm going to try because it would be really fun. But anyway, that's it. I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff, but whatever. This is probably really too long anyway, and I commend anyone who listened to the entire thing. So yeah, I'm only posting this to the Hull House group because I don't think anyone else on the internet's going to be interested who isn't in this group. So, or maybe they would. I don't know. Maybe. I bet who needs to listen to me talk about this besides you guys? Anyway, that's it. I can't wait for the next one, and all the people I met there, just everything was so neat, and I encourage anyone who has the chance to go to one of these conventions, go. It's so much better than comic conventions, really. Like, I hope never go to another Comic-Con again. I'm done. This extinguished it. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is. That's it. Yeah, so, you know, happy Halloween, because 'tis the season, and yeah, that's it. Toodaloo.